Hopefully you guys are ready. Let's jump in here to game number 1 here in this best set of 3. Complexity taking on Internet Gangsters. So, obviously, this is the winner's bracket semifinals here. Big matchup on the line. Again, only 2 spots available in this tournament here for that DreamHack event. One of these 2 teams going to be dropped out of the loser's bracket after this. So,
all right,
tougher.
And the blind mans have already started here. Complexity banning out Artillery and Deadwood. The Hellborn team banning out Tundra and Magebane. So we saw in the previous day's matchups, we saw both Moon Queen and Artillery were going head-to-head, and pretty much every time I've seen a Moon Queen open still, she's being first drafted by teams. No teams have really tried to exploit the weakness in laning that is supposed to have sort of nerfed her down a bit. They still feel like she can get enough support to still push past the early game and maintain that powerful carry presence. So curious to see what Complexity's plan in dealing with that is. They do have first pick here after all, so if IG is afraid of it, they're the ones that are going to have to address it. They said they were confident in winning the draft each game, so maybe they are trying to bait out certain kinds of picks that people might still be clinging on to that they feel might have a counterpoint at this point in the meta, but we'll have to go on and see. Insania instantly locks Ophelia and a Moon Queen, so making them sort of choose there since Keeper of the Force is in the pool. So they're trying to mix things up a bit.
Yeah, it is interesting kind of analyzing the short interview that we did have with Sender, but you're right. I mean, making the point that they're confident that they could win every single draft. I mean, that's a statement, man. I mean, you're dealing with the B-Kid, a very experienced drafter, one of the most experienced drafters on the scene today. Tralf Medor, no doubt, has plenty of knowledge. Peter Pan also known for being a very smart player when it comes down to it and even the drafting phase. So this is going to be fun to see how this does progress here, not only with this game, but obviously the rest of the series even. So the lock pool is going to be finished up, though, so as far as how it ended, very jungle heavy. Tempest, Parasite, and then Pharaoh to throw in the end there. Obviously, Pharaoh to perhaps deal with Tempest, or even, in a sense, almost like a ban even, because there's a good chance we probably won't see Pharaoh with that lock pool. So
B-Kid rocking that first pick is saying screw it to Rally, despite taking out one of those immobilizes in Deadwood. A little bit surprising since I thought he ran it very well in the past, but Massive Arms is still open if they did want to go for something like Ophelia first draft, and they can still guarantee a pretty powerful lineup in spite of that. If they grab Ophelia first, they are leaving themselves open to a Keeper Tempest, and something like an Ophelia plus Parasite doesn't exactly click. In a case like that, you used to see Stay Green pick up a hero, well, even potentially like Warbeast to go into that suicide, so they still do get that double jungle pattern. Of course, things may have changed a bit now that the patch has evolved, and I can't say I've really seen Complexity go with that suicide Warbeast route too much, so
yeah.
Not exactly sure if I'm looking out for it, but if they were a team that was formidable with it, I'd be potentially banning that out if I was IG.
Yeah.
Moving forward, though, Massive Arms is still on the board, hasn't been addressed yet, but Insania does still have a ban remaining after this. Predator taken out. Nice.
That hero's getting a lot of attention on the competitive scene especially, and I know the TMM scene as well.
I feel like the window of time in the game where he is powerful is very, I guess, it's a lot better than a lot of other carries since he's able to get down and dirty a lot earlier with less. So in that, I think he's a very powerful carry, maybe in a team that like IG who knows how to utilize him properly. So either way, Flux is banned out here, preventing the Flux NG combination. We saw it there. Master of Arms wasn't addressed. They were more afraid of the Flux NG than they were the Master of Arms. I personally would have liked to see maybe a Master banned instead of a Wretched Hag. I think she's strong, but I do think there are other options available. Did receive a little bit of a buff now that Grimoire Power is there, making her a little bit more viable even in that carry spot. But honestly, Hellflower got nerfed down, choose to get the bonus damage from that. I don't think it's that absurd a thing to have to address. But yeah, instead giving them the Masters, so they are going to have that double heal combination if they so choose. They would be giving up Keeper Tempest for it right there, and you see a strong team fight presence already from the Engineer Pebbles.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, but obviously, again, the center made it pretty clear, and Insane is a very smart player. I mean, going into this, knowing that he's given the Master of Arms, and very likely that what could be an Ophelia on top of that, they got ways to deal with it. Perhaps it comes down to getting that Parasite and being able to steal off that Master's Call, or just very heavy burst damage before any of those abilities could even be used. So just it's going to be interesting, again, to see how Insania and the team of Internet Gangsters over here actually approaches the overall strategy. So back over to B-Kid side for Complexity. He's thinking about his second and third pick here now. Going to dip in a bit into that extra time. When it comes to that lock pool, I mean, you figure it might go pretty quickly. So going to use as much time as possible to think about where it really matters here with these last couple of picks. So,
I mean, See, in a sense, they really wanted Ophelia as their jungler here, and that's highlighted by that Master Farm's first pick. But yeah, it is that sacrifice I keep looking at. Would it be safer for them to take something like a Keeper of the Forest to run as a suicide and then have their choice between something like an Ophelia and a Parasite?
And, Torture Magnus.
Yeah, Torture in this case. Well, we saw last time when they actually had Torture and Master. Tralf chose to run the Torture as the carry, and Peter Pandam actually ran the Master as support, which is a little bit offbeat compared to what a lot of other teams might do. So we'll have to see if they follow suit in this game or not. Still, I mean, they are versatile heroes in the both of them. It sort of depends the angle they want to take the game in. Meanwhile, Engineer Pebbles, if they're going for the Keeper Tempest lockdown or maybe trying to aim for it, they do need a little bit more of a source of sustained damage on the team, and that might be where they're looking to pick a hero up here. Okay, just straight up team fight at that point. That's fine. And they still have the option of always drafting a Moon Queen if they wanted.
Yeah, that's also obviously looking at her in that lock pool. Again, it's not going to be an immediate pick here from B-Kid as far as the lock pool goes. So I mean, it's definitely putting some thought into it. Again, you're eyeing that Ophelia, but like we keep going back to, is that it almost seems like a trap right here. Or they're baiting them into that. So maybe it might be safer going another route. But going to go over the options. Doesn't have too much time to unfortunately think about it. Down to 6 seconds now, so going to need to make that decision fairly quickly here. Oh my god, going to go down to the very end apparently. Okay.
Going the Pharaoh to stop if they go.
They ran him. They ran him.
Oh. I was like, maybe they're just doing it to stop the Keeper Tempest. What does he want? I was all tapped.
I mean, it's Internet Gangster's choice. It's if they're willing to allow
Yeah, he wants the tree. So we talked about it before. If he does grab something like that tree first, he has the option of running it suicide, and then doesn't completely get screwed over. Keeps his picks versatile. I think Internet Gangsters in a case like that, though, is sitting in a little bit stronger position.
Yeah. Again, it's Internet Gangster's choice. They by no means do they need a remake here. Their time was there for real. We will talk about it when this unfortunately does come up. I mean. B can make it he's not afraid to admit that he just simply was all tapped, but
yeah, I mean, I can't.
I mean, so far
is that a case where Insania is saying?
There's no word yet about. I mean, I don't know if that is him kind of making a sarcastic remark that they're not going to remake her. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it was just highlighted a little bit by the Keeper snap pick at that point.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're going to remake. I mean.
But you figure if that was the case, they would have talked about what picks they were going to go then. I mean,
yeah,
they didn't even
they
do
did
that.
draft Tree.
Yeah, they drafted the Keeper, so.
Yeah, the Keeper, Ophelia, yeah, so.
We'll see. This is going to be interesting to shout out this game. The last thing we need is.
I mean, their lineup technically still functions. They do have to adjust it. They have to run more of an Ophelia try, two dual lanes / Ophelia try. Depending on where the supports choose to roam and support things up. Everyone's buying their items. It looks like.
I think we're going to stay.
It is a game, so.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean.
Complexity going mana mode. Well, I guess not. I mean, they wanted a remake.
Rust in peace, QSQ.
Going to have to go. It's like I said, I have no problem with what IG's doing, honestly.
I don't. I'm just saying, as a competitor, still, like, if the teams don't respect each other, that's one thing. If I was going against my rival team and they were. Even if I was going against, like.
Hey,
the time is there. The time is there. I'm saying,
exactly.
like, you can't. I'm not faulting IG. Like, I don't want to make that point that I am. I'm just saying there are teams out there that would have chosen to remake.
Yeah, no, there are.
Done that matter, but they're not obliged to. I mean, he did run a time that is his fault. So
all right,
I don't want to make the point that I'm ragging on it.
Yeah, so we got to move on to the match though, because obviously they are. So here we go. You look like Complexity's doing it right here, and we could have some early action. All 5 of them in the Hellborn jungle. They are somewhat spread out now. Ophelia is in a bad spot right here. She's gonna cut through the trees, and Sania running with the teammates now. Let's see what ward is that actually gonna be placed. There's a stun on it. Pebbles gonna be initiated on. We could see the Bloodlust go. Bobby Walls go up, and Fuzi is going to fall. Bloodlust kill coming out for Tralfamador on that Moon Queen of all heroes.
Oh God!
Complexity, talk about a smackdown.
He's collecting that early Ring of the Teacher then right here for his potential duel / try setup. We'll have to see how they choose to adapt it. It'll surely be based on how they see the Hellborn lanes, but. Definitely Moon Queen with that earlier start, it's going to be huge for her, man.
Complexity has a smirk on their face right now. It's just like, yeah, that just happened. You just got bloodlusted by our Moon Queen. Because you didn't want a remake.
Oh,
So-
they're all probably cheering right now. They're probably doing a little bit of trash talk behind the scenes and
Yeah.
like but yeah, it's okay. I actually kind of like the lineup they ended up with. I think
Yeah,
it can still be pretty effective. The one thing I'm looking at here is the Ophelia, and they have decent counter push for it. I mean, between Master of Arms and Torture, a little bit of rocket spam, so it's not like they're without any sort of anti-push utility here. Moon Queen trying to do a good job of tanking that wave and is going to be successful, so she maintains lane control here. And going against a Keeper Suicide, that is going to be complete free farm here.
Yeah. Yeah, again, Complexity's lineup, it's not like they random some completely odd
He's got
hero that
Trent to
just
ring
does
off,
not
yeah.
fit on the team whatsoever. This still makes sense. Laning phase is still going to work pretty well. We do see initiation here in the middle lane. Torture's going to be gone. Magnus already using the line stun right there, but Torture does too much damage. He will eventually fall. Fuzi getting credit for the kill right there. Playing Pebbles, and Sania coming over with the Skeleton King, obviously, to help set up that kill in the first place. So, good job playing the aggressive Ophelia right there. Gets a counter kill here to start things off.
Yeah, fortunately not on the Magnus, just on the support hero in the lane, but great job by Insania keeping active. He is trying to place a Rev Ward. It looks like it's... Wow! It is just out of reach, Breaky. Look at that.
Really?
That Rev Ward is just out of reach of the camp.
Yep, just
not the
over
camp, but the
800.
ward.
Just over
Yeah,
800. Wow.
Did you bring out the ruler?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't get to use it much, man.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. I just... It's like, how does he do
You
that?
can
Yeah,
start
wow.
doing this. No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay. So anyway, damn. So Ophelia going to be held back a little bit here. She roams from camp to camp. They had to have realized that Ophelia might have been in the enemy woods at the start, considering the fact that they did ward the camp. So maybe figured she would look at her own jungle first. So fantastic job there, and seeing working with the one camp that he has outside of the small camp.
Yeah.
The one real camp that he has. And he did a good job of stacking the small camp as well. Early gold lead still in favor of the Legion's side here after that blood skill in the free farm lane.
Oh, Moon's in a lot of trouble. You could tell he was trying to avoid the Minotaur. I mean, Insania, though, he was boxing him in right there. Moon kind of doing what he could, but in the end, just eventually gets cut off and does get killed by the roaming Ophelia. So, no doubt, Insania doing a great job here, playing a very aggressive Ophelia and setting up the first 2 kills here, 2.5 minutes now for Internet Gangsters.
Right, curious to see how we're going to see Riser act with the there's a regional rune bottom. Basically, at each of the 2-minute marks, I expect to see him sort of roam over, assist perhaps in the rune control. He's got the stack going here in the bottom lane, which it is triple stacked right now. So probably going to attempt to pull. Looking like he wants to box out the Keeper of the Forest here, but just using a little bit of extra time before the pull mark. But yeah, I'm going to be paying attention to how he actually chooses to play at the 4-minute mark. If he's going to try to roam mid and set up a kill here with this Magma Centaur, sort of as a response to what was set up by the Ophelia earlier, or if he's just going to sit back down here and sort of assist the Moon Queen and pick up levels where he can.
Yeah, speaking of Moon Queen, Trough, of course, playing that Moon Queen, obviously working off that Bloodlust kill, so not only high GPM from that, but having a great start when it comes to Creep Farm. Look at that, 20-9. We're only 3.5 minutes in. That is near perfect, I would think, when it comes down to his the amount of creep kills he has. You see right there, going to use the Moonbeam onto Keeper of the Forest Tower. Going to be pushed in, though, as a result of that pull right there, so going to have a little bit of trouble, perhaps, getting more of those creep kills. Magnus, in the meantime, going to end up going down. Engineer and Pebbles catching that halfway through. But they eventually combo down B-Kid, who seems like he just simply got caught out of position right there and end up getting another kill. So big start for Fuzi in the meantime here in the middle lane. Already upwards of 375 gold per minute for him. Top and Moon Meander going to be gone on yet again. Insania coming in with the Skeleton King, but not able to set up the successful gank this time around.
I mean, I credit that early momentum, though, going back to Insania and the nice movement he had and complexity. I mean, they didn't have vision up, so I mean, he pretty much should have free reign. Had a really good early creep for ganking. I believe he had that Skeleton King as he roamed to the middle lane, followed up quickly by that Minotaur where he caught the fair out of position. So, yeah, either way, those ganks have done work, and now they're managing to pick up a kill onto B-Kid there with only 2 heroes. So.
Oh, you see Stalagmites going in right there. Of course, that's an illusion. Torture. Pebbles almost caught off guard by that, it seemed like. Beacon is going to walk away. I really think Fuzi got caught off guard. Oh, the shock to the Parmat's Portal Key, and Engineer will finish him off with an auto attack. So they do end up getting the kill, despite a little bit of a distraction there from the Torture illusion. Man, this is a tough time here for Complexity here in the middle lane. Pebbles is an amazing start now, 386 gold per minute and counting with those 2 hero kills that he has. Early Portal Key, most certainly in the works here for Fuzi.
I mean, you can't compare a rather a Magma's Torture lane to a Pebbles Engineer. There's just a lot more burst damage output potential between those 2 heroes. So, Yeah, I mean, all they can do is just hope for the best, try to get some semblance of lane control and creep safely when it's at the tower. But otherwise, Pebbles NG's kind of doing what Pebbles NG does, and they really have no way to stop it here. I mean, they can have Master of Arms try to roam up and sit behind, which they actually are doing now. But besides that, you know, Pebbles and Queen are route to their lanes.
Top lane in the meantime. Pharaoh's going to be gone caught up by the Kelpa. Minotaur trying to get a range for the stun. It might not matter in the end. The final auto attack. Yes, it will be enough for the kill onto Pharaoh right there. So Moon, again, doing a pretty solid job of doing everything he can to get away right there with the mummy walls and the juking, but just simply too much damage in the end. The range damage coming out. And Moomiander falls for the second time here. So his goal per minute is still managing to be fairly decent. I mean, his creep farm in general actually pretty damn good. 23-5 compared to a 27-6 bubbles. But those 2 deaths obviously hurting him quite a bit right now.
Yeah, and the thing about a Moon Queen is whenever you're going up against Ophelia and a Keeper, that's just a lot of minions that your ulti's going to have to bust through if it's an organized team push that they're actually pushing against you. You know, he is going to have his minions up. Ophelia does have that global heal, so even the bounces that wind up scattering to the heroes, you know, the heal sort of makes up for on each target one of those bounces. It's a little bit, I mean, after magic resistance and such, it pretty much negates one of those bounces onto each hero. So at that point, it's like the effectiveness of Moon Queen's ultimate is pretty much canceled, and then you have the rest of your line to work with. It is pretty scary.
Yeah. Yeah, the good thing about Pharaoh and his situation, he is a level 6, so obviously he has that Wrath of the Pharaoh to be able to use. Going to go back to the top lane here. Master of Arms coming over. He's only level 2, though. The tower is being pretty heavily pushed in right now by Insania. Got the Vulture Lord and the Minotaur. He's going to have to start falling back, though. Tower, of course, still out of deny range. So they'll most likely reset some things, try to go back in, and eventually take it out. So, but back to the bottom lane again. Tralfamador just having that free time right now. 425 gold per minute and counting. He's well on the way to a Whispering Helm here after picking up the early Steam Boots. I know Tralfamador specifically, he's a player that stresses that Energizer, man, especially in cases like this. So I am kind of curious to see if he does go that Energizer here, or if he will prefer to instead maybe go that Firebrand.
I don't know. I feel like this is a game where Shrunken Head is extremely vital when you look at the Hellborn team.
Yeah,
so I think due to the urgency of the situation, that's why it's lending itself more towards that straight Whispering Helm. Shrunken Head, he's not on a team that like is winning this early game right now anymore, and he's not. It's not like he's keeping up the momentum. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like, well, we were doing good, and now we're in a pretty huge hole. I mean, they actually had a bit stronger lanes. They roamed around and ganked better than us, and he needs to get to a point of sort of being that undominable force sooner than later. So
I had a little bit of a reaction there because in the middle lane, Moomiander tried to hit Pebbles with the Wrath of the Pharaoh. It literally died five feet in front of him. I mean, it was right next to him before, as far as maximum range goes. So it was just a little bit too long to not do the math right there appropriately. And that could have been a very successful kill on Pebbles if he was able to land that. So kind of unfortunate, I'm sure. A frustrating moment right there.
You see Ziva there, after being boxed out of the lane, did move over to the Ancients. Just hit level 6 right now here at the 8-minute mark. So a little bit of a slow start, but I mean, obviously the Moon Queen did have a great time. He did have to go up against a dual lane, a little bit of pulling here and there. So no surprise there. Now that he's level 6, I'm expecting his team to start looking out and taking out these towers. Top tower is only at 220, 1,300 health, so a little bit out of deny range, but very easy for them to pick off if they actually come with an Ophelia push squad.
Yeah, top tower is very, very vulnerable indeed. Moon Queen in the meantime at the bottom lane, going to try his best to continue putting pressure at this bottom side, including the tower. Keep it the force, though, level 6, and I'm sure Tralfamador definitely recognizes that, knowing he's needs to be a little more careful, and actually going to place the Ward of Sight in the lane right there that he had purchased for him, I'm sure. So going to give him a little bit more of a safety net now as far as staying at this bottom lane.
Yeah, he needs someone to go either pull it or he needs to go pull it himself right now. He has the lane ward, so now he needs to get lane control to take advantage of that lane ward.
Yeah, the camp down here. It is even stacked up, yeah, so could be a very effective pull right here. But in the meantime, the Legion team, they're going to spend their resources on the top side. Again, the tower very low, denied chance. It will be denied right here by Moomiander. Bubbles and Ophelia realizing quickly that there's too many numbers there to die for that tower. So they do not want to sacrifice themselves, and in the end, the tower does get denied. So a little bit good news there for Complexity. Obviously, though, the tower is killed in the end. But yeah, this lane constantly continuing to get pushed up here at the tower. So definitely could use that lane pull, and it doesn't look like it's going to be happening just yet, though, unfortunately. So it is hurting his farm a little bit. I mean, his GPM has started to drop down just despite him being free farm down here at the bottom lane.
I mean, the Moon Queen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. It's at 400. I mean, he hasn't had any kills since then. It seems like it's doing fine. He's just farming lane creeps at the moment. It's not at the point where he's explosively farming the jungle, so... Yeah, I think he's fine for now. Fuzi, not with the portal key yet, but not too far away either. They've got to be worried about it a little bit now. I mean, they don't know the exact time he's going to be picking up. They can see that he has a little bit of a built-up item there with the vestments, with the bottle, so they know it's not quite that 9-minute, but as far as when it's going to come out, it's got to be on their mind due to his strong start early on.
Oh, and Pebbles ran just right past a Rev right here. He's right on top of it right now.
Oh,
Fuzi does not know.
Point. They're acting like they don't
go.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well,
yeah, I guess Moon Queen. Yeah, I guess so. I feel like potential Moon Queen 4, but yeah, Keeper of the Forest is there if he spawned the minions. It's just better to actually use that knowledge tree advantage and just, like, I guess, play it safe at that point. Ophelia's heal is up. Keeper of the Forest was near, but probably would have been a bad call.
Yeah, I think it would have been a pretty bad call. So that's definitely the good for the complexity, I think, that they did not initiate right there despite seeing him.
Well, this gives them a little bit of information that Pebbles is here, though, and maybe you'll...
Well, as you say that, he's going to jump on a Torture. Magnus will come in first. Kill for going to be as the root does hit as well. Peter Pan Dam dropping. Magnus going to get exploded on. Torture will fall. Moon Queen does port in, but the energy field, a beautiful placement right there from Sender, really blocks out Tralfamador from having any presence in that fight despite him porting in. So another tower is killed on top of that. I mean, just look at the momentum gained right there. The gold, 7,200 golding now on top of a 4,000 experience lead for Internet Gangsters here.
Yeah, nice follow-up there from Bubbles. When his buddy and Pebbles sort of got counter-initiated on, I thought for a sec they had a chance. They interrupted the Pebbles combo, but it was too much. You know what I would have liked to maybe see is knowing that the Pebbles was invis because he was hanging out by that Rev ward, maybe another ward being placed closer in that little gank spot between the towers, figuring he might continue with that invis and go for it. But that would have been sort of a chance kind of thing, and yeah, they didn't take use of it.
Yeah, it's didn't happen in the end. I mean, you look at the levels here, too, on the Legion side, unfortunately. I mean, you got Master of Arms, still level 3. Just, obviously, he didn't want to really take away from Tralfamador at the bottom lane with his level, so it kind of makes sense as to why he's so low, but only level 3, got Torture still level 5. B-Kid even, I mean, B-Kid's just been struggling this game as well. He's 0-3-1 here, only farming 154 gold per minute. He doesn't even have the Steam Boots finished, unfortunately, as we already are approaching the 13-minute mark. So no doubt IG just has the momentum that they were looking for in this game with the lineup that they have, and they are going to continue to push now. The bottom tower, it's going to be gone. Nothing that Complexity is going to be able to do to stop that. Instead, they're going to kind of push the middle lane, which is definitely the appropriate decision. Will they kill the middle tower is a question. Are we going to see some TPs come in, perhaps? Yeah, you already see support is here, ready to go, so Complexity going to fall back and unfortunately not get too much out of that in the end. They do lose the bottom tower, and they're just going to have to go back to farming. So it's looking uglier and uglier here for Complexity as this game progresses, and it really just continues to be more in the hands of Tralfamador playing this Moon Queen here.
I mean, he is that dominating late game presence. I mean, above any hero on the Hellborn team, he has the upper hand as far as that goes. It's just how long will it take to get to that point? You know, it's
yeah.
I feel like without any major screw-ups for the next 30 minutes of the game, it's kind of like IG's advantage, depending on how they pace it. Maybe like 25, 30 minutes. But as long as they sort of like apply enough pressure to win in that time period, I feel like they're okay. They have to draw it out a little bit further on Complexity side while hanging on there, and it's a lot harder for them.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, their carry is 420 gold per minute. Shuffler is pulling in 420, and that is what they need. So at least they're on track with that. But I mean, in the end, you look at this isn't the lineup that they wanted. Of course not. They would rather take a keeper over a Pharaoh any day, I'm sure. So they're trying to make the best of the situation. Not like there's a Tempest for them to counter here with the Pharaoh either.
Yeah. Bottom tower going to be pushed. I mean, so Moon Queen is able to get that middle tower in the meantime, and she does just really even expand that lead that she has in this game. But as cliche as it sounds, it is a team game in the end, and the team right now of Internet Gangsters is just having a phenomenal lead going on here. Pharaoh is going to be taken on here in the top lane. He's trying to get away. No, the portal keeper bubbles. Wrath of the Pharaoh going to be right in his face to stun him. But I don't think Moon's going to make his way out of here at the end. Noob G will finish him off. And Moon Meander fall, unfortunately, yet again. So, again, you look at the hero kill stats, just there's nothing pretty right now for Complexity side, honestly, other than the Moon Queen. It's just, other than that, it's an ugly, ugly game here for Complexity. And you do gotta wonder a bit how, obviously, going back to the drafting stage, and the mental
He's
state
trapped
in general.
out. Torture is
Yeah,
actually
Torture's
trapped
gonna
out
be
here
blocked
between
here.
the Keeper of the Forest and between the minions.
Sitting there
God.
chasing Keeper for.
Well, yeah, he was actually chasing, I think, the Keeper minions for a while because Keeper was invis, so he's like, you know, nuking down the minions. And,
Yeah.
well, turns out Keeper of the Force was also there, kind of boxed him in from behind. That was really, really unfortunate.
Yeah. So lead will continue. 15.5 minutes in now. 9,600 goal lead. I mean, you look at IG right now. They're actually going to go over to the Kongor pit. This is pretty good time for them to do Kongor. You got Keeper of the Force, Ophelia. Obviously, very strong team here. We're doing a quick
That's a Kongor
Kongor
team, if any. That's pretty much uncontestable at this point in the game.
Yep.
Curious to see if Noobg here on Bubbles is going to go for more of that carry Bubbles route now that he has his portal key. We saw Slicks actually opted in the previous game with Sacred to go Grimoire of Power. Considering that a viable route, I still think.
Oh yeah, that's something that.
It's something you could go. I mean, Hellflower is always, always, always good when you're going up against a Moon Queen trying to get that truck and head off, especially when you have a team that can apply that burst and that initiation in the first place.
Yeah, true. That will probably be the reason why he'll run towards that in the end. But we'll see. 1,500 gold saved up.
Cheap stick even.
Kongor, yeah, just that lockdown.
Yeah, I thought he bought some of those pebbles.
Token of Life just not purchased, but Token of Life picked up by Pebbles right there. You see they're going to clean up the Ancients as a team as well. So just another thing in the book that that Complexity will have to deal with now against IG right here. Noobg playing that Bubbles at the top lane, just having a good time farming. You see Engineer centered nearby just in case any initiation does happen, but kind of just leeching some experience as well. And as you can see, that was not going to be the case. So Complexity just going to continue to move around, really just babysit this Moon Queen at this point. I mean, she's going to try to stack the Ancients right here. Oh, unfortunately, the Minotaur is going to actually pull aggro and mess up the stack right there. So not the most efficient way of doing it, but
oh well, he's about 500 to Shrunken Head. He's really waiting for that before he can engage in any fight. And hopefully in these fights, maybe, you know, Pharaoh is being a little bit tanked out. Maybe he gets a barbed armor or something after this. Maybe they can just take those exchanges that are like 2-for-2 exchanges. Maybe they jump in. They're a little bit tanky at that point, or well-activated Shrunken Head is able to punish him. Maybe they're able to go 2-for-2 in an exchange and just sort of draw the game out.
Oh no, Moon Queen. Oh no, Tralfamador's in so much trouble right here. Keeper of the Force sitting on top. Okay, she's going to run by them, so maybe not as much as I thought. She's going to go for the TP. The uphill. Yes, she is going to be fine.
Wow.
Okay, that was very close right there to death for her. And I was going to say, I mean, honestly, not getting the stack on the Ancients really screwed her because she still doesn't have enough for the Shrunken Head. If she got the stack, she would have had enough for the Shrunken Head after killing them.
Yeah, I know,
So
but she's going to have it before the next fight.
Yeah, now at this rate.
70 gold, it's not like they're...
Well, she sells something because I actually don't even know what she sold. Oh, okay, then that makes sense actually. So gets the gold right there and does eventually get the Shrunken Head. So we'll have it now into this next fight coming up here.
Yeah,
so
Bubbles he does look like he's working on that Hellflower, so as we kind of mostly figured, it's just going to be there to counter that Moon Queen, who's already, she's not suffering, she's at 448, but she's the one thing that can sort of carry the team when you're sort of all in on one hero. The easy answer to that is something like a Hellflower, is something like a Sheep Stick. A Hellflower even better at locking down that one hero now that it is a 4.5 second duration.
Dralf going to farm the top lane while they're pushing the middle lane. They aren't going full force just yet, so he figures he can buy still a little bit of time. Going to maybe try to get the tower kill as well up here, but it still has about half life. And in the meantime, their base tower is being gone on, so it's going to be interesting to see when Tralfamador ultimately does port back again. It seems like he is just going to hang his ground and just go for the tower kill at least. They are going to end up losing the mid base tower. It looks like, oh, maybe not. It's very, very close. Here comes the creep wave.
To lose it at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be lost here. Nope, going to be denied.
Yeah.
So at least they do get that, and Moon Queen did get that tower kill at the top lane. So, and I believe that also sets her up. Yeah, she does have buyback right now. What really makes this
rough is the fact that B-Kid, honestly, he can sell his bottle and his shield and have enough for his blink.
Yeah.
But maybe he wants that buyback even more importantly. So that's a really tricky spot to be in.
It is.
But yeah, if he did want his blink, he could have it for this fight. And when you're defending, it is a lot easier to get those ultimates off. Still, something like an NG ulti can just ruin your day. So you're going to be able to hold them off. They actually aren't feeling too confident with that rocket spam, the spam back. They're saying, hey, we don't need to take this fight right now. What are they waiting for? Do they have something like a barrier idol?
The Hellflower, possibly.
Well, the Hellflower is one of the major pickups for sure.
Yeah.
Besides that, a potential barrier idol. ultimately for the Ophelia.
I mean, they only have about 3 minutes remaining on the token, though, so I don't know if a Hellflower is going to be coming out here. And you mentioned the Bear Rattle, too. I don't even know if that could be happening in that amount of time. So I mean, they still might be going for the items, but they might not end up using the token here, with that said, if that is the case. So that is kind of interesting. Yeah, they chose not to really go in right there, and we do now see it's going to buy a little more time for complexity. At least Keeper the Force actually going to get caught out right here. The dust is applied, so the chase going to be successful here in the end as far as chasing him down. There's a Moonbeam. The chain reaction hits, and Keeper the Force in some trouble. The dust going to be wearing off in a couple of seconds. One more Moonbeam. There we go. Smackdown kill, and Trough-Mador will get credit for it. So that's a big kill. I mean,
It allows him to delay the game even further, and Keeper the Force, 329 gold per minute. He actually, I saw him build up a refreshing ornament. What does he actually have in his stash? He's got to have more than that.
Keeper?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he has to.
He's got to be really close to that.
He's probably the pattern away from the barrier idol. I'm sure he even has a shamans at this point. So we'll see when he resurrects. So in about 15 seconds is Zibe, of course, famously known for his chipper play. Arcana
Bubbles is going to have that Hellflower in just 5 gold, so we will have it probably in the last minute of the token, depending on how fast they're able to go.
Ooh, Invisible Pebbles here. There's no Bound Eye on the Legion team. They do have Rev and Dust, though. He's not going to go all the way, however. And he will end up falling back. So, I mean, what that did do as well with them choosing not to push at the time, it did eventually allow Magnus to get that portal key and not have to sacrifice selling those other items. And he's also getting close to level 11, I'm sure. So, having that level 2 Eruption could be very, very useful. So just sitting here, obviously trying to go over the positives for complexity.
I mean, the level 2 Eruption, it basically allows you to sort of mitigate that heal effect coming out from Ophelia compared to the level 1. So.
Yeah. Hey, it's something. Speaking of Ophelia, yeah, she does have her level 2 Ophelia's touch herself, and there's another tower push. That is the last outer tower. Yeah, the last outer tower push right there from Internet Gangsters. You see Pebbles just over a minute remaining on the token. Has a Soul's Bulwark, of course. Currently set to offensive. There's the Hellflower purchase from Noob G. Is currently at the top lane. Yeah, there's that Shaman Cedrus on Keeper. So he's just slightly close to the barrier auto. Here we go to the base. 2,700 gold on Moon Queen, by the way. Not going to buy anything with it just yet. Obviously, wanting to buy back here. Hell, he even has enough for 2 at this rate.
Very effective harassment coming out onto this Bubbles, but I mean, the racks are dropping quick breaky. They've got it.
Oh, Mummy Walls go up right there. Fuzi, token of life still about 38 seconds. Sorry, he's going to hold his ground. He's going to stay in the front lines. Magnus comes in with a big eruption. Still level 1 eruption. Pebbles will eventually fall. Moomiander goes in right there. Root is going to be coming out. There's the Moon finale from Moon Queen coming out. Moonbeam onto Engineer, chasing him down with that shrunken head. But he's going to get caught by the Skeleton King net, and that will stop the chase. So now Moon Queen no more has that shrunken head. And IG is going to fall back, kind of do a... Oh, they are going to fully fall back, actually.
Well, they got the melee racks and all that, man.
Oh,
it was close. Yeah. He killed the creeps that were attacking it, but there was still the Skeleton King up, I believe, and a little bit of whittling away during that chaos, and they managed to pick it off, unfortunately. But, when you are going up against a hard carry like Moon Queen, who's now sitting at 3,400 gold, and before they have to break a whole nother tower now. I mean, look at the bottom and top base towers. They are pretty much at full health. So at this point, the Spies are plenty of time to get some actual damage items in there, and that they did a really damn good job of holding them off. I mean, they burned through Pebbles' token.
They did. It was very well played by Complexity. I mean, IG as well. They also played it to a point where they didn't throw themselves into Complexity, and they were definitely being very careful as well. So, like I said, they got the mission accomplished in the end. They did kill the melee racks, and they lost nothing out of it other than the token, which was about to wear off. So, IG also in a sense of victory there. But as you're stressing, and as I still continue to be worried about for IG's sake, this Trough-Mador is now up to 515 gold per minute. He just purchased a Firebrand, another 1,800 gold saved up. Again, if there is a hard carry out there, man, that to be really worried about, it's definitely Moon Queen right now on the competitive scene. So, and she is just getting bigger and better. So, I mean, when it comes to a late game presence, we talk about those nerfs that happened during the patch. That was really for the laning phase, the early game. When it comes to late game, she's basically the same. I mean, sure, the balance range was nerfed by 50 range, I believe, but again, to believe that that has a huge impact.
Destruction thing a little bit. Really, she still tears apart bases. Still has incredible damage output. In a case like this, though, I mean, they do have a very clear-cut target. I mean, outside of maybe a Magnus who puts out tons of that AoE damage if you're not able to stop his eruption from coming out. Moon Queen, they are going all in on it. Compare the experience chart on both sides. And, look how slanted it is in favor of this Moon Queen compared to everyone else here. It's an overall experience in the game in general. So
yeah, GPM and experience per minute actually very similar for Moon Queen, which is kind of odd to see too. Usually the XPM is a little higher, but Fun stuff there. We do see it. She is now at the bottom lane currently. I thought there might have been some possible action, but she doesn't really go out too far. And in the end, the Hellborn Team IG also going to fall back somewhat. Kongor's got to be up shortly here. I would think in the next minute now, Kongor is going to be coming up. So you do see IG in that vicinity, so it almost looks like they are ready as well to make sure to go in as soon as possible. Bubbles and Pebbles are both, well, never mind. Pebbles did have a Mighty Blade, but I think she sold it right there, so maybe changing up his mind. But Bubbles at least going to be going for the Shrunken Head here. So obviously a powerful item in general, and especially against this Legion team. I'm on top of the Hellfire Portkey.
Bane, meanwhile, on Moon Queen, 2487, 2488. She's getting really, really close. And ideally, she would have that, because if they do have the Jammer's Bane, they could actually potentially contest them over there at the Kongor fight. Not only is it a counter to the Keeper of the Forest, it's also a bit of a counter to this Engineer here. Yeah. Being able to quickly take out that ultimate if she's caught within.
True. Yeah, and how about the supporting cast, too? I mean, obviously we're focusing a lot of attention on Moon Queen for obvious reasons, but the supporting cast has definitely built up a lot, too. You have a level 11 Magnus now. You have Pharaoh also level 11. He's actually bulked up pretty nicely. He's got a 1600 life pull. And then you got Riser. He had a horrendous start. He's now level 8, again, the level's not really there, but
yeah, he's now
his items at least. He's got Steam Boots and a Neophyte's Book on top of the Mystic Vestments, so he's managed to actually progress. And then, of course, Peter Pan Dam being on ward duty, but also coming along nicely. Oh, no. How do you get baited by that? They just, I'm shocked. I
Better
mean,
safe than sorry.
Was it not? Yeah, but it seemed like that was so obvious. I mean, it is hard to tell. From a spectator, it's a completely different perspective, but
it's one of those moments where you're worried about losing the game, man. And
yeah, you're right.
Feeling a bit twitchy. If anything, to me, this means that they know that they can take Kongor without resistance.
Yeah. That's a free Kongor now, absolutely.
So, you know, they pierced through Pebble's token before. At this point, yeah, it sucks. It really does suck, but, you know, sometimes in the heat of the moment, shit like that happens. It is rough, though. There's a chance the team with Fed can see it regardless anyway. They are looking to pick fights in their base where they can be a bit more intelligent about it. And yeah, there's token up, and in the end, they're going for the overall team fight victory anyway and fighting on their own home turf, so it's not as big of a deal. Still, man, let's try to get the woods up quick. I mean, if he's able to pick up this Geometer's Bane and one more tier of item above it,
yeah,
I will all of a sudden, without losing any more racks, I will tilt the game in favor of
yeah, Geometer's Bane, and I like in the wing bow this game especially. The Savage Mace opportunity here on the Hellborn side, pretty minimal. Unless, I guess, Bubbles, but and the wing bow in general, obviously a great item. So I could also see something like a Genjiro too. So anyways, we got to go still got to get that initial item, and again, the Geometer's Bane has enough for it, obviously. Has that for even a little bit now, but wants to also keep in mind about the buyback here. So we do have a pause coming out. By complexity, oh, that would be why. Apparently, Peter Pan Dam turning out, unfortunately. So
he's in the fountain now. I don't know if they just saw him heading back and realized he was disconnected, or if he knew it right away. But either way,
hopefully he'll be back shortly. Here, so
all right. You know, if I were IG, I'd be like, okay, I need to kill Moon Queen. Moon Queen, they're all in on Moon Queen. She's the only one that can stop us. She has buyback gold right now, so one thing they might be afraid of is sort of going in on that Moon Queen in the base with the Hellflower, with a Pebbles follow-up initiate, and then getting countered on by this Pharaoh, by this Magnus, trapping him in the Moon Queen buyback, and all of a sudden they're looking in a pretty deep spot. I mean,
yeah,
they don't have that hard carry, so they are looking for more of the fact, trying to exploit the fact that there's a level 7 Torture, level 8 Master of Arms, under-leveled supports, no massive amount of heal coming out of that team, no Astrolabe, no Ophelia, no Barrier, none of those major team fight items, which they all possess here, and skills on the Hellborn team. So you're looking to, okay, sure, maybe lock down the Moon Queen with that Hellflower, but then as far as your initiation is concerned, you're trying to knock out those supports and make it sort of a 5v3 advantage to you with the creep wave and just try to overrun them with momentum.
You see Moon clarifying there about the DC, so gonna wait for him to come back. But yeah, this Moon Queen, this is gonna be a fun finish. I know it's definitely an interesting game for many reasons, but you got a great matchup going into it. We knew this was gonna be a fun one, which is obviously why I was voted in the end by the community to cast here, and we're looking excited for it. But to add to the suspense, I mean, you have the situation with the drafting phase where Pharaoh, if you happen to miss it in that going into the lock picking stage, Pharaoh ended up getting randomed over here by Complexity as the first pick, in what was a very, very strong lock pose. What, Ophelia, Keeper, Moon Queen, Parasite.
Tempest.
and Tempest. So, I mean, pretty much a damn
Pharaoh.
strong log pool. Yeah.
Well, obviously.
So, and then Pharaoh, which they ended up getting. So they ended up randoming Pharaoh, and IG, made it pretty clear that they did not want to remake. So they went with Keeper and Ophelia. Beaka did make a statement that he wanted Keeper in the first place, but IG responded with Keeper Ophelia. So realizing that they were going to have to play with it, Complexity then finished off with Moon Queen. So again, it was a lineup that they may not fully wanted in the end, but they obviously had to go with when it was all said and done. So
And they did get the bloodlust at the start of the game. I mean, it was quickly counteracted by Insania's movement, but they did get the bloodlust. There was a bit of high spirits there, I'm sure, early on.
Yeah.
So right now, this game, I mean, we keep saying it's on Moon Queen's back, but no, the positioning of the supports is going to be so essential.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at these fights, more than anything, the way that the Pharaoh and the Magma sort of break up the Hellborn's initiation, because of the fact that they aren't this hard late game team. If Magmas are able to sort of interrupt and stagger that initiation, it does definitely increase their odds, because say one of the heroes goes in, they aren't quick enough on the follow-up, and all of a sudden they tried to go for a Moon Queen here, and nothing really came of it. They're going to be too deep in their territory, and that's the point where she can capitalize.
Yeah. Peter Pan Dam slowly but surely starting to reconnect now, so at least a little bit of sign of life there, I hope, as it is stopped at 7%.
Computer tech is upgraded beyond TI-83s at this point.
Oh, yes. The wooden computers syndrome. Plenty of those, it seems like. Well,
at least his
time out again.
His percentage matches his level here.
So, there is a cool comparison there.
Sure.
Master of Arms again, just trying to do his best. And that's kind of another thing too. Complexity, I mean, they love the Riser specifically. Not only plays a great jungle, loves a jungle hero. So kind of another thing that we're not used to seeing Complexity as, with the secondary support role. Obviously, he can play it just fine, but a little bit out of his comfort zone as well, I think it's safe to say. So.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I don't know.
I don't more so. In the end, again, it's...
I mean, he's been playing jungle lately because that's been his role on the team. But no, Riser's one of the most experienced players out there at this point. He used to play tons of things, ranging from support to utility to even carry. So, I mean, I honestly, I don't think he's... I don't think it's a matter of that at all, at least.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like he is coming back in now, so getting at least a little bit higher in the percentage, so... Once he does join back in, then obviously going to go ahead and resume things and continue on with game number 1. And obviously the other semifinal series that's going on. In fact, let's actually take a quick look at that, if it's how that one is progressing. Let's see. I'm guessing this is game number 1, and it looks like Stay Green does have a lead, at least, here in the first game. Looking pretty solid. They got the good old Lodestone coming out there.
I have to take
difference.
A look, compare how I feel about each of the lineups. Yeah,
it's kind of similar with the Moon Queen. It seems like Lions kind of rely on a Moon Queen there.
Yeah, you're looking at a level 16, 17. It's not just like they have a lead. This is absolutely crushing at this point. The only hope is that Moon Queen, who's 0, 1, and 2. Yeah, honestly, Lions is in a bigger hole than Complexity.
In
this game so far, for sure. But they aren't down to racks.
Yeah, there are no racks dead. As you can see, there are only 2 towers down as well compared to SG. So,
like how much faster they can farm though on the Legion side of those heroes.
Hard for us to say without seeing the exact.
They've got the AOE mobilized here to deal with the rally. Yeah, strong team, and not to mention the Keeper of the Forest easy initiation. Not only locks down the rally, forces rally to use that the compel, probably in a defensive capacity because he's getting initiated on. They're probably not going to counter initiate when they're down.
Yeah.
And they have that Lodestone combo immediately on top of it with all that magic damage from Torture, which normally people get vestments and they're able to reduce it quite a bit, but pretty much pure damage at that point.
Yeah.
That's a pretty preposterous lineup.
Jeez, he's climbing. I mean, 71% now, 72%. He'll finally make it back in. Oh,
I actually respect Peter a little bit more.
4-month stretch. There we go.
That's
he makes it. He sticks through it. Okay, it looks like he is ready to go finally, and I'm going to go ahead and have a resume here. So, again, back to this game now, as we are approaching the 28-minute mark. You see Moon Queen roaming nearby the Keeper of the Forest, who's actually stealing the Legion Ancients currently. So we'll just make way to the middle lane and continue to farm there. Magma's trying to find anything here at the bottom side, whether it's farm or maybe even a gank opportunity, but it's by himself. I don't think
alone
he
doesn't. Literally anything. Nobody on that team can die. I mean, even G has vestments, tablet of command, and those steam boots. So with the Ophelia here, heal is pretty much invulnerable to a solo Magma gank.
Yeah.
Even without.
So, continuing to farm, the name of the game here for Complexity. Obviously, that token alive going to be a big factor. As always, 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here for Fuzi with that token alive on Pebbles. So still a little bit of time. I mean, again, you look across the board. If there's any items that they're perhaps also waiting for, the Demonic Breastplate on Pebbles to be finished. You got your Shrunken Head on Bubbles coming up here pretty nicely. 23 more 100 gold on Ophelia, then another 2,000 on Keeper. So definitely another tier of items going to be coming up here for IG, it looks like, before we have that big initiation. There we go with the Geometer's Bane purchase, by the way. He just bought the pattern. Okay, I was going to say there's no way he has that much gold still after buying everything else.
That would be pretty absurd. Yeah, just wants to stick up in a safe buyback range. He knows is absolutely over if he gets taken out, but pretty much has it here in just a second.
Keeper just got his portal key. Of course, a solid pickup there. There's the Abyssal Skull for Ophelia, so using her gold. Team fight items.
That's kind of where I'm going back to the positioning of the support. So yeah, Keeper has a portal key, but with a Pharaoh Magnus to sort of break things up, Pharaoh, even through the mobilize, can still make something happen. Magnus has to be especially careful, though.
Yeah.
Not only that Keeper, but the bubbles as well. Now with that Shrunken Head, Silence, Hellflower, everything working for him.
You see, I love Peter Pan. I'm actually just even picking up a Crushing Claw here on Torture, just trying to get any type of survivability going, and eventually turn that into a Bracer, and then the good old Astrolabe if it comes down to it. So.
Hey man, sometimes even 50 health is all you need to live for that extra second just to get that stun off. And that stun, it's like a 2-target stun, sets up another combo, wins the game for you. So just trying to, he knows they're down, just wants to try to get anything that might give him a small chance of winning this game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he also has a Pretender's Crown actually, so you're going to be finishing that Bracer soon. Not after you find yourself commenting on support finishing a Bracer, but hey, I just did. Abyssal Skull just delivered to Ophelia right there, so Insania does now have that, and again, the token is dwindling down a little bit, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. It seems like that IG might start to be making that move here to the bottom lane. It looks like it's going to be their choice. So, again, the middle lane, obviously the melee racks where they've already killed. The bottom and the top, though, both have the towers up still, so again, another thing Complexity does have in their favor. Geometer's Bane still has not been purchased yet by Moon Queen. She does have nearly 4,000 more gold saved up once because she already has the pattern.
There's something he's set up for the element of surprise. He's hitting on the Firebrand. They might not know whether there's something he's set up for just picking it up right before the fight too.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to use the courier for it right now. His courier is split pushing up the lanes, and they aren't going to TP and catch him out here by any means. So he's fine doing what he's doing.
There we go. He's going to continue his push, but in the meantime, that's where IG starts to push the bottom lane. You see Mummy Walls going up from Pharaoh right there. Barrier Idol is going to be used, so the spam damage going to be mitigated a little bit. Top tower will fall. Drop Water able to kill that one off. Will he actually port back now is the question. He still is not. He's going to clear the creep out. There we go. He's going to start porting back and expect that Geometer's Bane to be purchased ASAP. There we go. Yeah, still 2,600 gold saved up, so by all means enough for at least one buyback. I believe it's just enough
to hold this fight off, man. That's the ticket they're looking for.
Yeah. Oh, the jump right there. How far to Moon Queen? Trying to sidestep right there. Deep the Master Call comes out. Will it be enough for the kill? No one not. The Shrunken Head, the bigger Roger from Magnus. The Moon finale going to be used on Moon Queen. Trying to turn things around. Energy field going down right there. Bubbles in no man land. Bubbles will end up falling most likely. Chain reactions, yes. He tried to get ported. Wasn't successful though. So both him and Engineer fall. And Complexity, the one chasing. Ophelia is going to be picked up here. No, Nature Spell comes out. She will be fine for now. Just out of range. Ophelia will survive. So they only end up with the 2 kills. But holy crap, they hold off the tower from even being killed, and they didn't even use a buyback there.
That's more than just holding off the tower. That's also burning through Bubbles' token. At this point, they can't make another push happen within the duration of the token. Bubbles isn't up for 50 seconds, and at this rate, Moon Queen can push out that bottom lane far enough to where holding it off, I mean, the tower still has maybe a fifth of the health left. It's long enough for them to burn out that token without having to fight for it. So
yeah.
Consider that another kill in a sense. That's exactly what I told you before. If they tried to jump into that Moon Queen and weren't able to kill her, how important just the positioning of all the supports and everything would be, because okay, they tried to jump into the Moon Queen, they weren't able to kill her. All of a sudden, they were in the heart of the enemy. Yep. Shrunken Head was activated, and they could do nothing about it, man. I mean, they just had no way. They didn't have enough damage. They didn't have enough follow-up, and that's huge. That is absolutely huge.
It's big. I mean, B could also have a beautiful eruption there in the background. and
the staggering up with the initiation, too, from that Pharaoh, from the Magnus. I believe he erupted into the team. I forget who he stunned. Was it the Ophelia? I believe he stunned the Engineer, right?
Who's that? Magnus? I'm not sure. I just saw the eruption go off in the background. I'm honestly not sure who he actually stunned.
Yeah, I think the keg was cast anyway in the spells, but either way, they were just sort of cleaning him up. They tried to go, not enough damage.
Storm Spirit just finished by Riser, too, so another great item there. It just makes it that much more difficult now to kill Moon Queen.
Yeah, considering now she can sit up front and, you know, counter push effectively, and their battle plan has been, we need to kill Moon Queen, we need to kill Moon Queen. I said it before, I think that's really risky. I mean, I think you do have to punish the supports and the rest of the team and just turn it into more of that overwhelming momentum in the team fight, because Moon Queen at this point is spiraling quickly out of control, picks up that snake bracelet on follow-up, just trying to mitigate even more damage, now up to 1,800 health. Now with those team boots, it's
well, he's accomplishing that.
Yeah, and you said before, there's not really a clear Savage Mace picker here on the Hellborn team. Wingbone completed. There's pretty much nothing left that they can do.
You saw IG was thinking about trying to maybe push there with still a little bit left on the token of life, but realizing it just wasn't going to happen. So push up as much as possible, clean up the jungle, and then fall back. So 3-minute timer on the clock again. So probably around the 37.5-minute mark is when Kongor is going to be coming up here. And that's obviously going to be the big key, because not only will that be another Kongor, but that will be the third Kongor, remember. So Banana's will be coming from him if and when he is killed. So. But, yeah, you really do feel like, I mean, that was kind of, look, eventually when this game does finish, I mean, that was a point right there where it's perhaps could be that teeter-totter point of swaying finally in the side of complexity for this game.
Both base pushes, man. I mean, they got the tower the other time, but both base pushes, I think, have overall gone more in favor of complexity than they would have liked. I mean, actually, they got the racks in the middle, but they did burn through. But didn't they burn through the token?
They did burn through the token.
And they did hold them off. No casualties were taken. They're just buying time for that Moon Queen's late game. I mean, honestly, right now, this Moon Queen is creating a ton of stress here for the Hellborn team. They know they need to answer it. So, but trying to force a push is also not necessarily the route they want to go, because of just how easily they've been punished at this point. Yeah, it looks like Keeper of the Forest is trying to build up a Restoration Stone, but there are a couple of escape mechanisms already on Moon Queen. It will tear through those supports, but even they are getting tankier now. Sold with the timing right now.
I wonder what Noob G is going to go for here, honestly, because, again, knowing that he is going to be going up against Wingbow, will he maybe go into that Savage Mace route, or will he go maybe more that Lightburn to Grimoire route here to try to be a little bit of a carry presence here later on in this game? Or then a completely different route, maybe something like a Sheepstick. I mean, another lockdown tool could be possible as well, so.
I'd say a Sheepstick or a Grimoire is more likely. They're just trying to deal with him, lock him down.
Yeah. So Moon Queen farming up the top lane. Obviously, what complexity? The last thing they would want right now is for Moon Queen to get picked off. So just making sure that you have vision of the map and know your surroundings. You see on the mini map, doesn't seem to be too dangerous of a situation at that point. IG, however, as far as what they're looking for, again, they're looking for that opportunity. But if anything, just simply waiting out for the next minute for Kongor to come back up. But no doubt, I mean, unlike the previous two Kongor attempts, this Kongor attempt will most likely be at least a little bit of a fight coming out for complexity to not make it easy on IG. So this is going to be really interesting within the next minute here, how things start to play out. You see Moon Queen going to kind of scout things out with some illusions and a little bit of damage here in the meantime, but not going to be the biggest steal in the world. I mean, more gold pulled up on the Hellborn side. You got Ophelia actually leading the way with that. She has 2,700 gold pulled up here. So another big-time support item perhaps could be coming out from her. Perhaps her own Storm Spirit for this side, but
yeah, perhaps. I feel like it's not a Storm Spirit they need. They need offensive capabilities.
Yeah.
Keeping their teammates alive at this point, it doesn't really accomplish what they need.
There's Kongor. He is now up, so gotta now worry about him. Worry about him. As far as the vision goes around the Kongor pit, I mean, neither side has the most vision around Kongor. Right now, it's pretty minimal for both sides, to be honest. So, just on the outskirts of it.
Vibe for map control in the area first before they want to commit. I mean, that being said, I mean, IG has been victim just to the typical case of trying to initiate when the enemy team is sort of camping their base. I mean, they've been having to overextend underneath the tower, letting Magma set up perfect ultimates, giving them the perfect positioning. In a fight like here at Kongor, they're able to spread a lot better and approach from multiple angles, and they get favors them quite a bit more.
Interesting. Complexity actually falling okay. Then they spot with the 12 minutes, so they start going back in, but now Kongor's dropping pretty slowly here.
Still farming mid. knows he has the wing bow coming up. I mean,
Yeah.
pushing out the mid lane, yeah, it isn't dropping the fastest.
Cyclone's keeping them guessing, too. I mean, it's harassment, and they can't really stop, so it's okay. I mean, yeah, it is going to hold them off, and Moonqueen's still able to get some decent farm, and it's going to slow down a little bit here. Actually, obviously, we'll have to now push up if she wants more. I'll go to the top lane and get some good farm, but then you put yourself out of position to go stop a Kongor kill if you go up there, so going to keep things occupied here in the middle side. You see IG going to clean up that middle creep wave and go back towards Kongor. So some mind games going on here from really both sides now.
A little bit. I mean, they don't have that raw physical damage carry, so it's going to take a little bit more time than they'd like to pick this off. And you see Magnus instantly rotating, creating a little bit of momentum here for this top lane, and hopefully won't have to really react to it from here.
See another 12-minute soul. Kongor still has plenty of life, 4,300. Again, he has been dropping the fastest here. IG knows that they could be. Oh, Pebbles caught right there. He is going to be caught, and actually, Ratzifer comes out. Here comes Moonqueen. Pebbles dropping quickly, and Pebbles will fall right off the bat. He buys back immediately, though, so he is back up. Magnus in the back row with the eruption, not doing the most, however. And now here's a 5-pack from the Hellborn team. Hellfire is going to be applied. Moonqueen Sharknet is down, of course. Bubbles trying to stand his ground. Wilson got torch right there. Pebbles comes back in with a huge stalagmite. Barrier is going to be used. The energy field is put down. Complexity in retreat mode now. Moonqueen on the run. Pharaoh in the midst of it all. Puts out the moonbeam, putting in some auto attacks, but will eventually have to fall back, man. Troutmanor going man mode here, but he's going to start to get blocked. Nature's Wrath comes out right there, and Moonqueen in a lot of trouble. She will eventually fall. She again doesn't buy back. She uses it immediately. Right now, Torch is the only one dead for sure. Master Farm is going to be next in line. Deep in the Master's Call, not going to be enough. He eventually will fall too, and this could be the opportunity now for IG to clean up Kongor, or will it? I mean,
Moonqueen bought back right away. We saw right there, though. I mean, they had to sort of back off after getting that pick off onto Pebbles. He bought back straight away. They tried to go in with the Magnus ulti. There was follow, but just trying to salvage the situation would have been better. But it's hard to tell. I mean, they're like, okay, we just killed Pebbles. We're really strong. Moonqueen's farming up. Let's do this. Forgetting that a lot of the reason they won those fights is they didn't have to deal through, a second wave of Pebbles buying back at that point. They didn't have to deal with something like the split positioning and the ability to sort of kite and move around better compared to the Hellborn team. So they were relying on that base fight. So now that they had to fight outside of it. Yeah, sure, they got to delay Kongor, and Moonqueen's farming up quick here. Has pretty much the gold for Wingbow in just 50 if she wants it. Not sure if she's going to save for the buyback again here, or just go all in so she has a little bit more damage for this fight. She's got to be quick, though. Bubbles is getting close to that sheep stick.
Yeah, he's going to be picking up shortly here. Just needs the Mana Tomb now. Again, though, Kongor, but right away. Tormented Soul comes out, the minions die, and IG knows that they just can't really go full force into it, so it looks like a little bit of time is going to ultimately be bought here for complexity's sake, and no doubt that is to the favor of them. I mean, they're the ones that want this game to continue lasting here as much as possible, because obviously they have that Moonqueen factor, and getting that Wingbow finish and still having the buyback is obviously where Complexity's aiming for now. So how much? I'm guessing the Sharknet is down to 5. No, it still has 6 seconds here on the Sharknet charges, by the way. So still has one more charge before it goes down to the all the way to 5. They're going to try to steal Kongor here, but there's a Rev right on top of him. IG is fully aware of what's going on, and Complexity immediately will retreat. So definitely a solid choice. They might as well go for it and see if how they react, if anything. So, but clearly not the opportunity that was going to happen. There's the sheep stick finish by Bubbles. That's big. We were curious about where Noob G would go with his next item, and sure enough, well, there's our answer. Finishing the sheep stick there. Ophelia did finish the Storm Spirit too. I mean, I do agree with you. Actually, I know I mentioned it, but I was agreeing with you.
But at the time they were pressuring the base here. We saw as the fight moved away from the base here, more towards Kongor, and with that bananas, it made a little bit more sense as to why something like that could be viable. I haven't really seen any too huge port backs. I'm not sure if I missed something in the previous fight, but yeah, either way is going the route. Ophelia Storm Spirit's never necessarily bad. Being able to save your teammate for sure, and the longer they stop Moonqueen's picking out a target, they make her switch targets for those 2.5 seconds. It still is having some pretty huge effectiveness, so either way.
The game of counter wards, also very important at this time as well.
This Kongor, man, you mentioned it before it started, but this has been a huge point of contention. I mean, each team knows the word explicitly, so.
I mean, he's been up now for 5-6 minutes, and it's basically that's where all the action has been since then, so.
Yeah, Trough getting so close to getting that Wingbow pickup, but he just wants that buyback. I mean,
ooh, big pickup there. The Restoration Stone finished.
That
by
is, man,
Zibe.
we've seen it being pieced together. Now he has it all.
Yeah. Kind of forgot because he wasn't really putting any of the parts on him, but yeah, the Restoration Stone. And you look at IG, they immediately go for Conqueror. They're like, this is our time, if any, now. Having a double root here. One double root here is a pretty damn big deal. Wingpo still not picked up by Truffle. It's 5,000 gold. Here we go. The Rats of Pharaoh coming in on. Keeper the Force trying to lock him down. Kelfin in the background. Moonkun going to be Storm Speeder right there. But it's going to come right down. The Sheep Stick immediately by Deep in the Magical. A big eruption from Beacon, actually. Moon Finale going to be activated. Energy Field in the background. But Complexity looking strong to start this fight so far. I feel there's going to be Moonbeam. Not going to be enough for the kill, though. Still putting an auto attack to Troubadour. But now here's a return from IG. The second root coming out. The auto attack to finish up Engineer. Not enough. Hat-trick coming up for Noob G in the end. Make that another kill. Moon Queen goes down. Torture the only survivor. This is going to be a Congo kill now as well. And that will be a token of life there.
Yeah, the defensive capability on IG is way too powerful to deal with. I mean, we talked about it before. The way to approach these fights would be more killing Moon Queen's team. And with all the armor buff from the Keeper of the Forest, with the defensive capabilities of Moon Queen's heal, of that Astrolabe, of the Barrel popped, Moon Queen just doesn't... It seems weird to say, but it doesn't have that Wingbow yet. It just doesn't have enough damage here to really tear them apart as they stagger. So at that point, there's like, okay, Moon Queen, you're alone now, and they do have that, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, 5-on-1 advantage, and they just completely overrun her. So the buyback buys that Dancing Blade really quickly, wants to get that Wingbow, but this is going to be the bottom racks potentially. I mean, they have the defender's advantage at least at this point. Bananas, were they?
That was awkward.
What happened to the bananas?
I'm not sure.
They
That
might have been used during that.
The bananas are still there.
Okay,
Oh god, here we go again. Are the bananas seriously going to be left at the Conquer pit? Oh boy.
They're like, wait, guys.
I mean, do they have any slots? Engineer does have one. Keeper does have one right now. So I mean, there's not really that excuse, but okay. I mean, maybe they just they're in the heat of the moment. They just simply forgot. So. It could be. I mean, unless there's a strategy of trying to bait out Complexity to pick it up and you kill them or something, but I don't think that's the case. So. Okay. I know we had this in Han Tour a while back. I forget what match it was.
It's been a couple matches. How my team was redo it a couple times too.
So. Bananas.
That was one of those games. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just don't like bananas really. There's better things out there.
Unnecessary handicap, or necessary handicap not to pick them up. So, Moon Queen again, though, going to lead the way right here. It looks like Complexity finally, for the first time this game, even just going to try to play the aggressors all of a sudden. They know. I guess the Restoration Stone is still on cooldown. That's the only thing that they kind of have working for them right now, other than Moon Queen having that wing bow. Barbed armor just purchased by Pharaoh. I guess Complexity feel like, we're at a case, we're so far behind, we need to now just make the move. So they're going to go for it right here. Bubbles does jump in. Nothing going to be... Okay, the Hellfire wasn't part of this Storm Spirit coming out, though. Kelf going to be as the Sheep Stick to follow. The seat support is there. Deep with the Master Call, because then in comes the Wrath of the Pharaoh. But not the most follow-up in the end. So here we go, though. Sharknado is going to be active in Jammers right after the root coming out. The Moon Finale. Down goes Torture in the meantime. Engineer jumps in with a beautiful engine field, right trapping Troubadour. Storm Spirit going to be on him. Troubadour comes down. His team is already dead. He's eventually going to fall right here. He gets chucked up. Down goes Trout. Nobody dead on IG. And I think that's going to do it. Complexity went all in right there at the end. GG, well played. Game number 1 will in the end fall to Internet Gangsters. But damn, what a game it was, man. I mean, wow. That game lasted definitely a long, long time, considering especially the start that it had. But for good reason. Complexity nearly doing the unthinkable on him. Yeah, that would have been a hell of a comeback. So.
Nearly, but you saw IG, they did smarten up a little bit. They didn't force the issue into the base, sort of took the game into a position where they were the ones dictating the flow rather than trying to, into that bottleneck point where the Magnus was able to get off perfect ultis, where they were able to counter push so well. And the fact is, when they were fighting inside their base, if there was a buyback, they had no way to actually get back into the fight.
Yeah.
When the fight happened at Congo, when Pebbles was picked off, they were tanky enough to sort of like kite the fight around, heal up, make it happen. Pebbles was able to buy back and rejoin the fight too at that point. So just a lot of IG wisened up and took it as they should. We mentioned before there was the issue with the drafting. The timer is there for a reason. If they wanted to keep her the force, they could have decisively picked it sooner.
Yeah.
He said he was alt tab, but either way, you can't really fault him. They have another game to make up for it, man.
Yeah, That's easy for us. It is for us to say. I mean, in the end, you just got to move on. You can blame that all you want, but you know what? And on the other side of the spectrum, I know there's going to be a lot of fans of complexity maybe out there, or just in general of saying like, oh, there's an asterisk there on the victory. It doesn't. Hey, a win's a win in the end. I mean,
there's potentially 2 more games here, so
there's a trip to DreamHack on the line.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, obviously we're going to take a short break right here, but we will have game number 2 going to be coming up at you. We got Internet Gangsters taking on Complexity here in this best out of 3. Stay tuned.